Sadhu Sadhu Banteji for the kind words. Tiruvan Sarnai, like we say in Sri Lanka, Triratna Sarnai, and also with the permission of the Mahasangha, we will start today's topic. Again, like I have done before, we are going to continue the same topic of women in Buddhism, basically. That doesn't mean we are ignoring men in Buddhism, but this is much more neglected area. So we'll focus on that until we exhaust most of the stories. So before we start, how many people here know about Patacara Theri? Okay, one person. Anybody on the men's side? Okay, one. Okay, that's not bad. So at least somebody knows and has idea of who Patacara Theri was. But today, when we finish, you will know as much as you should know about Patacara Theri. So that will be the good part. So Patacara Theri was born in Savatthi. She was a beautiful girl, and her father was a very rich merchant. So, but she was kind of a rebellious child, maybe from the childhood. So when she became 16 years old, her parents locked her up on the 7th floor of their mansion, saying, this child is going to rebel. The hormones are acting up and she might do things that she should not be doing. But even then, what the karma has ordained ultimately happened. So what happened was she fell in love with one of the servants who was serving her on the 7th floor. So she got very attached to that servant, and then her father decided, I'm going to get her married. He didn't know about this servant boy yet. So the moment Patacara learned about that, she decided to elope, run away with the servant boy. So then, before her marriage that was already ordained, she and the servant, they both ran away. Now, servant is a low-class person, so he was very afraid that this rich merchant will find me and kill me and take away my wife from me. So they ran away to a remote town somewhere, like 2-3 days travel in those times. So they went there, they are now living their life. And Patacara, who comes from such a rich household and never has to do anything, she asks for water and gets milk, that kind of situation. Now she has to do all the menial work. She is cooking, cleaning, doing all these things. So she has started learning what it means to be a rich versus a poor person. And so now she is burdened with all the menial tasks. Then she becomes pregnant, as is the course of the nature. So she tells her husband when the time comes to deliver the boy, deliver the child. So when the time comes for the delivery, she tells her husband, let me go back to my father's place. Why don't you take me there? My parents will forgive me. Parents are always soft-hearted, especially when they think about the grandchildren. So she said, let's go. Husband doesn't want to go because husband says, they will catch me, they will kill me, they will punish me, they will put me in jail, all kinds of things. So husband doesn't want to go. But the rebellious child in Patacara makes her run from her husband's home to her father's home. While she is on the way, husband finds out that my wife has again eloped in the reverse direction now. So he runs after her. And halfway through, he catches up with her. But by that time, her pregnancy pains started, her birth pains started basically. So she gives birth on the way, and now there is no reason for her to go to parents. So they both return back to their home in the remote area. Then again, as is the course of the nature, in a year or two, she again becomes pregnant. Now she has a young child, so she wants more help from her parents. So she again tells her husband, let's go back. Let's go to my parents' house. Again, husband doesn't want to go. But she somehow convinces him. And so they start. They're on the way to Savatthi, where her father is, her mother is, her brother is. And on the way, suddenly a very big storm arises on the path. Unseasoned, out of season path, like big storm with thunderstorms and lightning and all kinds of things, and it starts raining, pelting rain. So Now she is with a small child, maybe 1 or 2 year old, and then she is also pregnant. So she tells her husband, why don't you go and cut some trees, cut some small saplings and make a shelter for me, like make a chumpadi for me, something like that. So husband goes in this dark, rainy, cloudy, thunderstorm, pelting rain situation, and as he starts cutting a sapling in a remote area of the forest, a black cobra comes out and beats him right there. And it's like deadly cobra. In a minute he is dead. He is now lying on, he has gone for a task, but he cannot go back now because he is dead, of course. In the meantime, Patacara and her young child, pregnant Patacara and her young child, they're both waiting for the husband to come back. But husband doesn't come because husband is dead already. So all night, both of them are in a very bad situation. Then Patacara gives birth while the storm is going on, while it's very, very dark, raining, thunderstorms, lightning, all kinds of animal noises around, tigers, lions, whatever are the local animals. They're all making noises. And then the small child is born. Now she has two people to take care of. And both of them are crying at the top of their lungs because they're both frightened. They're frightened with all this nature display, all this animal, all these things that they have never seen before. So all night they spend time like that. And she has nothing to offer them, no safety other than her body. So her body, she shields them as best as she can, protects them, but it's not much. So now comes the morning, the storm stops. Now it's not raining anymore and the light opens up, sky opens up, clouds clear up. So she puts one child on her, like on the side of her body, and the other child she gives the finger, the 1 or 2 year old child. And now she starts slowly walking. She has thought in her mind that my husband abandoned me. He has run away. But on the way, she sees that the husband is lying dead on the path at that point. So she tells her children that we lost your father now, but what can we do? Now I must go back to my father because I have no husband anymore. Who will take care of my 2 young children? So she continues walking while crying, while grieving, like when a woman loses husband or husband loses wife, they grieve. And so she is grieving, she is in sorrow, and she keeps on walking. Then they come to river Achiravati. Achiravati is a river on the outskirts of Savatthi for those who have gone there. It's not much of a river now, but it must have been a deep river in those times, 2,500 years ago. So she comes to river Achiravati, and Achiravati is a seasonal river. It depends on how much rain, how much melt from the Himalayas, all that. She comes to the Achiravati river, and now the river, because of previous night storm and the rain and everything, the river is like chest high and it's fast flowing. It's like a flash flood kind of situation now. There's a lot of water coming. So she said, I just gave birth. I cannot cross with both my children at the same time. So she tells her young child, you wait here on this bank. I'll put the little child, your little brother or sister or whoever it is, on the other side, and then I'll come back for you, and then I'll take you across. Now, 2-year-old child wouldn't understand much. So as Patacara starts walking, crosses the river, and then she puts the newborn baby right on the other side, and she starts coming back for the 1 or 2-year-old child on this side. She is halfway through the river, and then a hawk, a falcon, or an eagle, something, a bird of prey, sees this little baby. At that point, baby is quite red, basically, it's just born. And so this hawk thinks it's a piece of meat, comes, grabs the child, and flies away, like a small rabbit, like a small, even fox. They would just carry it away. And so Patacara is looking at that tragedy, that just born child is now taken. Husband is gone. Now the second child is also gone. And she is crying, standing in the middle of the river. So this little child, 2-year-old child, thinks that my mother is calling me. My mother is calling me. And he jumps in the river and the river takes him away. So now she has lost both her children and her husband. And she is just full of sorrow and grief and endless pain. She doesn't know what to do. So now she still has her father. So she thinks, okay, I'll go back to my father. They will help me assuage my pain, my sorrow. So she keeps on crossing the river, goes back. And after she finishes, she enters the outskirts of Savatthi. And she sees somebody that she knows from like 5 years ago when she was in Savatthi. Just she asks him, what about my parents? Where are they now? Is my brother okay? Are my parents, my mother, father okay? And that person says, ask me about anybody, but don't ask me about them. And so she says, why? Why should I not ask about them? And he says, last night in this thunderstorm, in this terrible storm that arose out of season, the entire mansion, he was a rich person, so he had a mansion not of wood and all that, but a real mansion of bricks and stones. The entire mansion collapsed, and all three of them are dead. And now they're burning together on that funeral pyre. You see the smoke coming up there? So in 12 hours, she has lost 6 people from her life. She, from a life full of children, husband, parents, brother, a hope that she can go back to her parents, everything is decimated in one single 12-hour period. From previous evening to today morning, she has lost everybody. At this point, her mental balance just disappears. She goes crazy, stark crazy. She starts pulling out her hair. She starts tearing off her clothes. She tears off all her clothes, becomes completely without any clothes, and is now just running around in circles, not knowing what to do, because she does not have any capacity to deal with this level of pain. None of us will have. Things will just get out of hand. So she just succumbs to that kind of sorrow, that kind of imbalance of mind. And this happens for some time. She's just running around naked with those pankit kesh, basically muddy kesh, unkempt hair, all these kind of things. Then one day she happens to go and pass by Jetavana. She looks at the gate, maybe she gets some recollection, and she enters the Jetavana. Everybody tells her, you cannot go in there. You are naked, you have no clothes. She doesn't listen. She goes where Lord Buddha is sitting in the Jetavana, and as she approaches Lord Buddha, again people are stopping her, that you are naked, you should not go there. So many people are sitting there, it's not proper, it's not decorum. But Lord Buddha says, no, let her come, let her come. She comes there, she gains little more clarity of mind that I'm naked now. So somebody throws this upper cloth to her, and then she covers herself. That's the name that she gets. The name is Patacara. She is covered in a cloak. That's where she gets her name. We don't know her previous name when she was born. Patacara is the name we have. It's because she put on a cloth, on a robe, that was thrown by somebody to her. So now she gains her mind, her sense of clarity, some clarity, not too much clarity. So then Lord Buddha preaches to her the gradual path, the noble truths. And at that point, she enters the stream entry, because this is like, she has been going through so much suffering. It's like gold being melted at 1,000 degrees or 2,000 degrees in a furnace. And that gold is ready to be molded in whatever you want it to be, in a bangle, in a necklace, in a chain, whatever you want. And so she becomes a stream enterer at that point. And then she requests ordination from Lord Buddha, and she joins the Sangha of the noble ladies at that point, and she starts practicing. In Theri-gatha, there are certain verses by Venerable Theri Patacara. And one of the verses are that she asks that young people are plowing, tilling the field, and they are making money. Other people are making grain. I am also tilling the field of my mind. Why am I not getting the nibbana? Why am I not attaining the higher fruits? And so she has this Dhamma agitation inside that I must also reach this path. So at that point, she is ready now, totally ripe and ready because of the previous suffering, because she has already entered stream, and now the Dhamma Vichaya, now the Dhamma agitation. So one evening, it was the custom at that time. So one evening, now she is sitting down and washing her feet. She's washing her feet, and she must have been in an inclined place, like, small hill or something like that. So she watches that the feet wash water. It's going in small rivulets. Some go little only, some go little more, some go even more, but none of them keep on going forever. So she realizes that the ones that go the smallest are like my two children who died at a very, very, very young age. Then some who go little more are like my husband, who died a little later, 30 years or 15 years or 20 years later. And then even more, there are others which go even more. They are like my parents. They went to the old age and then they died. So everybody ultimately has to die. Nobody is forever, living here forever. So this loss is part of this cycle of life. Again and again, I have lost so many people in my life. So now it's not suffering, also not only Dhamma agitation, now she is getting the understanding of the Dhamma. And so she goes inside her kuti, she takes the lamp, inspects her bed to make sure there are no snakes or scorpions or something like that, something that can be dangerous. And she sits down on the lamp, sits down on the bed, and she takes there's a wick keeper, and she turns off the lamp, basically. The moment she turns off the lamp, her mind gets freed. So she was like at the right point in her life when all these things crescendoed. It's like an orchestra when all organs, all equipment start playing together, and at the end, boom, and then everything is quiet. Just like that in her life, all these factors got together, and all these factors led her to finally achieving what all of us desire ultimately. The ultimate happiness, the ultimate freedom, the Amrita, Amata. And Lord Buddha also has said one verse about her in Dhammapada. So she is a very well-known Theri to most of the Buddhist populace in most of the world everywhere. And she also became the foremost person. She became a counterpart of Venerable Upali in terms of upholding the Vinaya. And she also became a teacher of at least 31 Theris. I think it's actually more than that. So 31 Theris, Arahants, were directly instructed by Venerable Patacara so that they can attain Nibbana. So one got freed. She became free, but she also freed so many others. Like I say again and again, she took so many people by hand and took them to the path of Nibbana. So this is what the kind of thing that a good woman is capable of doing. So one question I have for you guys is, why did the Venerable Patacara become the upholder of Vinaya, of the discipline? She could have been like Mahamoggallana, psychic powers. She could have been flying in the air. She could have been a great Dhamma preacher, sitting on a chair and telling people. But why did she went the way of becoming an upholder of discipline, becoming a counterpart of Venerable Upali? You guys can guess. There are no charges. There are no, there's nothing here. You can just guess. What happened in her early life? What did she do that she should not have done? She broke the discipline. She ran away. She did not listen to her parents, who probably had more experience and her best interest at her heart. So she broke the discipline, she ran away, and she reaped the results of all that rebellion that she carried out, basically. So that's why later life she realized that what she wanted most was to live with discipline. And she chose the Vinaya, the discipline, so that she can control herself and also teach others how to control themselves. So that is the short story of Venerable Patacara. I don't know how much time we have to ask questions. We have 7-8 minutes, so maybe 1 or 2 questions. So again, somebody will have to start asking questions. Okay, somebody needs to break the ice.
Anybody ladies side?
She has one question in the back.
Namaskaram. My name is Manjula. You just said that discipline is more important, but then I think humanity comes first and then discipline.
That's all.
Could you please explain?
Yes, that's always true. Humanity comes first. Karuna, compassion, all those things come first. No class differences, that also comes first. But also discipline is necessary. Remember also, different people have different temperaments. So somebody might lack in this quality and they choose that quality. Somebody might lack in something else and they might choose some other quality. So what happens is, the path is ultimately same, but the side of the path you walk more on depends on what your temperament is. So you will find a path of practice that is customized to your inclinations, your temperament, what you have more and what you have less. Depending on all of that, you will choose a path. But humanity will always come first. The biggest epithet of Lord Buddha is Mahakaruniko. He is not called Mahametiko or Mahamudito or Mahaupekhako, but he is called Mahakaruniko. So first comes Karuna. Compassion is the root. So that's always there.
A humanity coupled with discipline.
Yes. Discipline comes. Without discipline, you cannot help humanity. So humanity is first, but it needs the foundation, the support of discipline and Dhamma and other paramis that you have practiced. All of that lead to this mention. Top is the jewel of compassion. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you.
morning.
My name is Anant. Do you think Bhattacharya needed that tragedy to happen? Did she need that to happen in order for her to become who she became? Or could she have chosen a similar path without having going through the tragedy?
That's a very good question. And I think some of her past preparations in the past lives of the kind of things she would have experienced is the way she got into this line of development. I would call it a line of development because this line took her to attainment of the arahantship. Every person attains arahantship in a different way, and this ties up to the question she asked about inclinations and past preparations. Venerable Sariputta attained stream entry in 1/4 of one verse, and the remaining path while fanning Lord Buddha. No exertion of any kind, no sufferings of any kind, no nothing. Venerable Mahamoggallana attained stream entryship by listening to half of the verse from Venerable Sariputta, so easy, but then the rest of the path, he struggled for a week. Lord Buddha personally had to appear to him to urge him, to teach him how not to go to sleep and how not to just nod off and how to keep working. So he attained arahantship by the difficult path. Not as difficult as Venerable Patacara, but still difficult path for Mahamoggallanaji. So everybody will have their own path. And that path, from the time beginning, we can't even go back there because karma is something we can't ponder. We don't know about karma. I don't know about what your karma is from past life. I don't know even about my own karma from past life. So depending on those things, we will be pushed into a certain mold. And that mold will determine how we attain Nibbana ultimately. So that's why many of the wishes we do is, Ma me bala samagamo, may I not be attained to fools and then go on the wrong path where I have to learn many more things in a hard way. All these kind of things we do because we want to attain Nibbana ultimately in a way where we can teach others how to attain it also and not have to tell everybody that you must lose everybody in your life to attain Nibbana. But you don't have much control over it. Your past karma will dictate to a great extent how you go. We have time for one quick question. So we can meet 10:55 timeline.
Good morning. My name is Pratiksha. My question is with regard to discipline. Discipline is often equated with being monotonous, rigid, inflexible in many ways, whereas humans are known for their adaptability. So how do you seek a balance between being disciplined while also being adaptable in this changing world? Thank you.
See, for the discipline, for the monks, those things would not apply because Vinaya is something given by Lord Buddha and we would not modify those things. So taking for the lay people, you are not bound by the Vinaya as we know, as the second part of the Tipitaka. Your discipline would be gone by basically by the 5 precepts. Varita and Charita, basically what not to do and what to do, the yamas and the niyamas. So your rules are very simple: not to kill, not to steal, not to have sexual misconduct, not to lie, and not to do intoxicant. So those things are not very hard to keep. You should be flexible that in Lord Buddha's time there was no LSD. But now there is LSD, so you should not be doing LSD. So you should adapt in a creative ways. So discipline for lay people is quite different than the discipline that we are talking about in terms of monks and nuns. Monks and nuns, our discipline is not subject to change in the world, but sometimes there is little adaptability. I'll give you an example, very quick example. In the Thai tradition, we have chocolates, chocolates, Cadbury's, it's all solid, right? Monks are not supposed to eat solid food after 12 noon. But Thai people and the Ajahns found out that it's made from oil actually. Even though it gets solidified, it's made from oil. Oil is allowed after noon, so we can eat chocolate after noon. So that's where some adaptability comes, but not extreme adaptability. I'm sorry, I don't have enough time to give you a little more examples of this kind of things. But again, you should focus on the 5 precepts and what you should do and what you should not do. And that should take care of the discipline part for you. Okay.